All right. So I'm very, very excited to welcome Dr. Leah to the How They Built It, how today's best brands build audiences that adore them, stay loyal, and keep coming back. So, Dr. Leah, I'm so excited you're here. Can I just have you just say hello and introduce yourself and just say a little bit about you before we dig into the good stuff?
Yeah, of course. I'm really happy to be here too. Thanks for having a chat with me. I am Leah Rappaport, Dr. Rappaport, Leah Rappaport. And I am a hospitalist in Boston, Massachusetts, and I'm a pediatrician. So I work in the hospital taking care of sick kids. And I'm also a mom of two and a Bostonian. We were just kind of chatting before this. So from New England. Spent some time training for medical training in Michigan, so got to know some Midwest folks as well. And have been doing social media for about a year and change now.
And that's about the time I think when you probably started was when I found you because I had just had a baby in March
Oh,
2025.
that's exactly when I started.
Which I want to talk about like you've skyrocketed in terms of visibility and engagement, but I found you probably when you were getting started and I was in the newborn trenches and I was like, what am I doing? And your reel started popping up on my explore page for you page.
Yeah,
And I fell in love with your content. I fell in love with your energy. And
that
I
like
think
makes it all worth it, literally.
yeah. And I think I've admired how you have shared content and grown this audience. And so I'm so excited to unpack some of how you did that because starting a year ago to where you are now, which I just checked this morning, you're at like 113,000 followers on Instagram, which is not a simple thing to do. So can we take it back to the beginning, literally a
Yeah,
year ago, right?
yeah,
You busy mom, working as a hospitalist.
yeah.
How did this actually start? And what inspired you to even get this going?
Yes. I would say for many years, I have been a social media consumer. So I always really liked TikTok actually. Like during the pandemic, it brought me like a lot of joy. And I was always sort of a proponent of social media, not like give your kids social media, but I felt like it was bringing me a lot of interesting recipes, some really interesting thought-provoking stuff. I felt like it was doing really good jobs in advocacy and campaigns and things like that. And when I started working at my job here in Boston, I met someone named Tommy Martin, who is a huge influencer. And he has been doing social media for like a decade. And when I first met him, I, I sort of was like, who is this guy? Like his social media persona is so positive and so smiley and so fun. And I sort of assumed all of these like big influencers were kind of fake, honestly. Um, and when I met him in real life, he was just exactly as build. Like that was himself, just like on social media. And I ended up working with him a bunch. He has a great sense of humor. And I started like telling him ideas of things that I wanted him to post. Like I was like, you really got to like post about how like breastfeeding is like really hard in the beginning and people shouldn't give up. Like I would be like, oh, can you post about this? And he's like, why don't you post? And I was like, I could never post. I'm a nerd. I'm like an old mom. Like I'm in my mind, I just like wasn't cool enough to post. And he just like kept pushing, pushing, pushing because I kept bringing up ideas to him. And he would do some of them like every now and again. And finally, he was like, you just got to do it. And so he like sat down and taught me how to do it. And I like didn't really do it. And then I made like one video and I ignored it and kind of pretended like it didn't happen. And then that video did really well, that first video. And I was very confused. And so then I was like, maybe I should do it again. But then I had all this like, I was so nervous to be on camera. I was so nervous to be talking, but I had so much to say. Like people text me all the time. They talk to me about so many issues, being new parents, being parents in 2026. And I was seeing so much social media content making parents so much more stressed than they needed to be, including myself. Like I was a problem child with my firstborn too. And and he just challenged me in March. He was like, I challenge you to do a post every single day for 30 days and see what happens. And if it is too much or you don't want to do it, stop after that. And so I did that. And I ended up like having like a couple videos like really blow up. And I was so surprised because I was just being real, like just saying what I would say to like a friend on like phone call. And it ended up being really rewarding too. I didn't realize how much I wanted to make that content and like download the advice I've been giving over and over and over again for years. And also just like opening up about my own journey too as a parent. Um, and then I just sort of got hooked and really enjoyed making this content and have been doing it since.
I love it. What I love about what you said is I think a lot of people, regardless of what business they're in or what type of content they want to create, there's that tension between, oh, someone else could say this, right? Like I have these ideas, but you know what? I'm going to give it to someone else. There's sort of that fear of putting themselves out there. Was it the challenge he gave you to just try it for 30 days? Like what was that shift that was like, all right, I can't have Dr. Tommy say it. I need to say it.
No, it was, you know what the challenge, no, so yeah, first of all, Tommy couldn't say the stuff that I say because a lot of what I speak to, like we overlap very little now in content, honestly.
Mm.
Like we overlap in like some very specific pediatric ways, but he's like a fitness influencer, he's a dad, he has a wonderful son with special needs. Like we're just in a very different place. I'm speaking a lot more to like the balance of like work-life balance as a woman, as a professional woman, women's health, parenting, motherhood, and pediatrics. And I think that, and lifestyle too. Like a lot, I touch lifestyle stuff and cooking and things like that. Um, what I think the 30-day challenge for me, what that did for me was it took the activation energy down. So how hard it was for me to make that first post, how particular I was about like, does it look okay? And how much I freaked out the first time. It was just like, you just sort of like exposure therapy. You just keep posting. And so now when I post, it doesn't feel stressful. Like I can just post and keep it
So
moving.
what a freeing experience too, because I know some people will post and they're like, okay, how to do? They're constantly checking.
And
There's the second
and
guessing.
I honestly think that comes from not doing it enough. I
Mm.
really do. And like when people ask me like advice on how to get started, I always recommend that. I'm like, do a 30 day of like every single day and like hold yourself accountable like every single day, weekends, like whatever, like just get
I,
it done.
and you're still a prolific content creator. I mean,
Yeah.
you're posting. So the idea is it's almost like you start creating and then more ideas come from the more you create, right? Like
A
that's
little
always been
bit.
my experience.
Yeah, I think for sure that. I also think what you realize is that um I was sort of getting in this debate with some other pediatrician creators where I really believe that you can say the same thing in like three different ways. Like I I think not every reel or every post is going to reach everyone. And so if you want to talk about the importance of vitamin K, you might do a reel, you might do a carousel, you might do like a B-roll thing. And when you're kind of going through those different sort of iterations of your point, you actually learn a lot about your audience, you learn about yourself, you learn about how you communicate, and you're able to sort of almost do like a little science experiment. And I think that people who view social media as like an ever-changing, almost like amoeba, you end up doing better, I think.
Mm. Yeah, no, it's absolutely true. I think the pressure to come up with continual original ideas and you can't say the same thing twice stops a lot of people from putting stuff out there because they're
Yeah.
like, oh, I already said that, but that was a year ago. It's like no one remembers.
Well, also, even if they do remember, like you're going to have a different take and you're going to have um different perspective now. Like some of the posts that I made early on, I'm like, oh, cringe, like, oh. And like I still want to talk about that subject, but like I can do that better now. Like I can edit it better. I can like talk about that better now that I know how to do that. I also like
Mm.
know about lighting now. Like some things are easier that you learn. So I think it really just is experience. It's a muscle. And I think when people think that it's not, or they think that they can like make this like really rigid schedule and like do a script and do this, blah, blah, blah. Like people don't want to see that. They want to see you actually responding to the needs of your audience.
Yeah, yeah. And I think part of what resonated with me when I started finding your content was I heard about this before, how brutally judgmental the kind of parenting space is, and everyone has tons of opinions. And then I got into it and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no shortage of opinions on how to do things. But yours is very compassionate, right? There's no sort of you're doing it wrong. I think you seem to go in the opposite direction from what a lot of the marketing based content is. And
Yeah.
so, did you find that that was a conscious choice of yours, or did that kind of evolve with time?
I don't think that was necessarily a conscious choice, but I think that's how I practice medicine. Like I think that's how I am as a clinician. Like if you meet me in the hospital, I have always felt like the world isn't black and white. And also, I had a very humbling experience being a pediatrician and becoming a parent and realizing that there's like actually a lot of gray area in parenting and people do things a lot of different ways. And I found the more we put pressure on parents, especially in social media, the more we put forth this perfection or this sort of like perfect model, this aesthetic, beautiful, all gray and beige perfection, the harder it is for moms and people and parents to like genuinely be present with their children. And I felt that myself. And so like my kind of goal is to my thesis is to de-escalate parenting and
Mm.
like empower especially women and moms to feel like they're doing a good job because they likely are. The fact that you're even concerned about parenting choices means that you're doing a good job. You know,
Yeah, yeah, it is very stressful. So, would you say that that's something you recognize about your typical follower? Like when you look at the comments and when you look at the engagement, like what do you think keeps people coming back to your content?
I have to be honest, like I I don't know. I am so thrilled every time anyone tells me that they've like gained anything from my content. Like even you just saying like I that meant a lot to me or whatever you said at the beginning, it feels like the biggest compliment in the world. Like I feel like I have like won the lottery and that was my goal in the first place. And so I- I'm sort of shocked every time people come back or and I don't mean that in like a put myself down kind of way. I feel really thankful that people want to listen to something that's like even keel. And um, I absolutely struggle with like the imposter syndrome that would come with this. Like, I'm like, are all those people real? Like, I mean, I'm sure maybe they're not. I actually have no idea, but I definitely struggle with that because I don't know what keeps people coming back, but I'm gonna keep doing it because like I get messages that like make me feel like this is all worth it, like 100%. And because of that, I'm just gonna keep making content, you know?
Yeah. Was there a recent message that like stands out to you? Just the nature of the message, or was it connected to a particular post or reel that you shared?
I get a lot of great messages when I make stuff about like the postpartum
Yeah.
phase. I think that's when like moms are really, really vulnerable. And I think you're scrolling in the middle of the night, you're scrolling by yourself, like your baby is taking a 20
You're in the dark.
nap. Yeah,
Yeah.
your baby taking a 22-minute nap and you feel like a failure because everyone else's baby is taking like 3 hour naps and you don't even understand what's going on. And you're so vulnerable. And if I could just be like a voice of calm, like reason for even just like one mom a month, yeah, to me, that's a win because I was that mom and I didn't have someone
Mm.
de-escalating me. In fact, like I had people telling me all the things I needed to buy and I bought them. Like I bought it. And I think that that is what and in retrospect, I didn't need to. I didn't have to. It didn't change my relationship. And I think like I really want to provide that sort of de-escalation. And I'm very thankful that it's ringing true for just some people.
Yeah.
I also think that a lot of people, I do a lot of like advocacy posts, like things about like public health and policy. And I think that those messages mean a lot to me too. Like when people are like, I'm really glad you're speaking about this, like this really matters to me, or this matters to my family. Like when I have talked about Medicaid and people are like, I'm on Medicaid and like this matters to me. That feels really powerful too, which I just didn't have that impact as just a regular clinician. Like I did
Right.
advocacy stuff and I did like programming and research and things before this, and I just didn't get to see that personal impact.
Well, and I'm curious too, because I think a lot of, business owners who are looking for more visibility, they're looking for a larger platform, they're looking for more followers.
Yeah.
That's not the end goal, but it's one of their goals.
Oh,
Um, I'm curious how that's positively impacted your work. You were touching on it, like, now you're a voice and you can kind of have influence potentially over policy. Like, in what ways has growing this audience of followers helped you?
Um, I have I have I don't actually know how to answer that question. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's like helped me personally.
Or maybe even like the line of work that you're in. Like, how do you think that having that platform has helped?
I think that my line of work, unfortunately, is still very siloed away from social media. And I don't think it's really changed my like clinical trajectory very much.
Mm,
I have been able to be exposed to things that I haven't been before, which is really cool. Like I've worked with the governor on a few issues, which is really awesome and feels really impactful. I've been able to like do some like small interviews with news companies and things like that that trying to de-escalate parenting, so like getting that reach out more that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't taken this leap into social media.
yeah.
I've been able to work with the American Academy of Pediatrics, which is like a huge, huge win for me. So I guess that is the biggest professional sort of like gain. I work with the AAP on some of their campaigns, which is really fun and really cool. Um, because they're working with a lot of like pediatric creators to kind of get the word out more about important children's health stuff. So it's definitely expanded my network way more than I ever thought. And I have like a lot of people in different industries that are sort of invested in similar things that I'm invested in. So like it really is kind of like a social network, which is very cool.
Yeah, I think it's one of those, it's like a byproduct. I think some people, especially the people that I work closely with, they're thinking, okay, I want to grow my business, I want to get in front of more people. But then they don't see that there are some other really incredible benefits that can
Yes.
happen as a result of this. As you were just saying, it's like, in what other situation would you ever connect with a governor or this, academic board or have that kind
No,
of impact? I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
that is huge. I guess like saying these things out loud sound actually very impressive. It just in my mind, the first answer to my question was but I do think that there is part of that too. Like I've only been doing this for like a little bit over a year, and I think that I'm still like sort of I haven't really been able to, I'm so in it that I haven't been able to necessarily take a step back and see kind of like what I've been able to accomplish. And so that working with the governor and working with the AAP is both like two very cool things.
Yeah, when you say it that way, I'm like, that is really cool.
Yeah,
Not
you
only
reframed that very nicely. What are you really good at reframing things? And
yes, yes. So yeah, I think it's one of those where that's why when you said what I've done is like embarrassingly simple, I'm like, no, it's not though. Like what you've done is really impressive.
so
Yeah.
I do think it is simple. And I try and explain this to people. I have like,
Yeah, how do you define simple? I think
yeah.
that's a good place to
Oh,
go.
what I tell people is like, if you want to start doing this, I I think that there are just a few very obvious things that I did that I think result in like that you see results. The first is consistently posting. Number one. Number two, it is not about you. Try and provide value. So like whatever that is, like for me, the value that I am trying to provide is when people ask me or text me random questions that they're worried about, I then try and take that, distill it into like some really simple guidance and provide that to more people. Like that's how I think about value. And and on top of that, that value could be as simple as like this is an easy recipe I'm using. This is something that makes my skin feel nice as like an older mom who's tired. And this is some like really important ways to take care of your sick kid in viral season. Like very simple value. And then the third, which I think people don't do enough, is when something works, keep doing it. Like if a prompt or a post works and goes viral, do it again, but with a different content. Like I think that I see that happen a lot with like people where they like have this amazing one viral post and then they like continue to like change and like not go back to it. It's like I did that I do that series like advice I'd give you if I wasn't afraid.
Yeah.
I do that because it works.
I mean, that's, I think, one of the very first videos I found of yours, and it was like about newborn sleep, advice I'd give you if I wasn't afraid to tell you the truth about newborn sleep. And I was like, oh, I'm not doing anything wrong. I like her. I'm going to follow her, right? Like, so that
Like
clearly was a hit.
and the truth is like people I'm if you met me 10 years ago, if you met me now, I'm like a real talker to a fault. Like I straight talk. Like to my friends, I give them tough love. Like I'm a straight talker and it's something that like I sometimes need to like tone down a bit. But that's a really great avenue for me to really be my authentic self, give my authentic voice and keep it simple. And I think for me, that works well for me to be able to communicate things I really care about. And
Mm.
so I think those three things like consistency, providing value, and then also when something works, do it again. Or like if something doesn't work, don't do it again. Like that's the other thing too. Sorry, I have a cat.
I'm surprised mine have not made a guest appearance yet.
I know that's like it's really cool. Um, so
People love it though. Yeah, people
yeah,
love it. Yeah.
I'm kind of a dog person though, and so like everyone thinks I'm a cat person now, and I'm like, oh, my
The
husband's a
dog,
cat
yeah,
person.
I've got dogs and cats. The dog,
Oh,
I'm
okay.
sure, will bark at some point.
Fair. So that's kind of what I mean by simple. I think like you can generalize those concepts. And I have friends who have like been trying to do this for a while now and they aren't growing as much. And I think it's because like when they do, like, they aren't trying to look at that pattern, right? They're not looking at the pattern recognition of like doing things that work and then not doing the things that don't work and trying to like weave while providing value. It's like if you can do both, that's what I try and do. I have no idea if
Yeah,
it's actually working. I like
I would say it is. I would say it's definitely
no, but
working.
I mean, like
Yeah.
that's how I'm doing it. Like when things work, I try and identify what works there, and then I try and do that with other things.
It's funny to me as like an outsider observing this because I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like her science. It's like a science
No,
experiment for you.
it kind of
Kind
is.
of is,
It is.
right?
Yes. And it definitely is. And I'm like, well, why doesn't everyone think this way? I don't know, because like I am a nerd.
Well, and I think a lot of entrepreneurs, it is it's hard for them because it's so connected to themselves individually, and this is a reflection, it's a reflection of themselves. And I think entrepreneurs are also super creative and they get that shiny object syndrome. So they see like, oh, so and so is doing this, I'm going to go do that, and they get distracted, right? They get that sort of let me copy and do what other people are doing. But you're saying like take a step back and look at what's actually like if you do this consistently, look at it like a science experiment. What's
I
working?
I also think what's interesting, I in my family there are a lot of entrepreneurs. It's a very entrepreneurial family, and I am not an entrepreneur. And um, I think they what I see in a lot of like people who are starting their own business is you have to have profound tunnel vision. Like you have to believe in what you're doing so wholeheartedly. And I think what you could do to try and like take a step back from that is think like, how can I provide value of what I'm doing, but to apply to more people? And I think that like kind of getting it out of yourself a little bit and trying to
Mm,
think like, how can I provide that value? That would be helpful.
yeah, yeah. I want to revisit something you said earlier because I know who Dr. Tommy is. I follow him on Instagram.
The best.
It sounds like, and I love him. I love his energy, his content as well. And it sounds like one of the things that you did was you were able to learn from him. And I think some people who are like, I really want to expand my reach, I want to grow an audience. I think one of the things that they could model from you is look at your network, look at the people you know, like learn from them, right?
And I mean, I say this and I like really mean this to like any physician or any creator that is trying to get started. Like I've offered my services the way that Tommy offered it to me. He was like, I will always look at a video before you post. Like I might not do it right in that minute, but like he was like, if you're ever worried about how you're saying it or what you're saying, or you want feedback, like I'll give you feedback. And I think people are sometimes like, either they think they're putting you out or something, but I've offered that to so many people and very few people take me up on it. Very few.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I don't know, but like I would be happy to give feedback. Like not that I'm an expert. I obviously have no real idea, but I could say like, oh, like work on your hook or like, oh, like it seems like blah, 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 or like put the text here, like I
Yeah.
would be happy to do that for so many people. And I think people don't utilize their network enough, don't ask for help enough, don't acknowledge their deficits enough. Like I know that there are a lot of things I'm not good at. And I try and like get the help that I can from other people for that. Like editing was a huge problem for me. Like it was definitely taking up a lot of my time and I was not that good at it and it was like impacting my family life significantly. So as soon as I started making any bit of money on the social media side, I put it straight into hiring an editor.
Outsource it.
And
Take it off the plate.
And I still edit some of my own stuff, but like for the big edits, I send it to him and I'm so thankful. He's amazing. Our dynamic is great. He totally roasts me in some of his edits. I don't know if you watch some of my things, but sometimes he'll like zoom into a weird face of mine and I'm just like, cool, cool, thanks. But I love that.
Yeah.
And like I think that acknowledging your deficits is huge and being like self-aware.
Are there any strengths that you had entering into this that you were aware of that you leaned into?
I think that some of my strengths that I leaned into is that I was a social media consumer.
Mm,
I think that I liked trends. I liked social media. I think it's valuable. I enjoy it. I like engagement. Like I was a voyeur, like I didn't create, but I had watched it. And I think it's really hard for people to who like don't believe in social media to suddenly do social media. Like if you don't have an account or if you aren't looking at stuff, how can you suddenly be part of like the pulse and the culture, you know? Um, and I think that that is something I leaned into. And then also like I was a theater kid. So like,
okay, okay, there we go. So there's you
yeah,
know, you have the science clinical side, but also you have the theater side, which
yeah.
helped you kind of, I think, overcome that initial fear of speaking and getting on camera, I'm sure.
Yes, I would say that I'm less awkward on camera than most, but I definitely started more insecure than most. So I think there are pros and cons, right?
For
Like,
sure.
I mean, when I get bullied online, Tommy always makes fun of me, but I get bullied for my glasses all the time. Like people will be like, all right, 4 eyes, okay, goggles, like stuff like that when
Oh
people
my
don't like my look.
gosh.
And like I was self-conscious about that. Like that was not the glasses, but just like my nerdier appearance, which by the way, in real life, like I am cool as a cucumber. But like being on social media, I had to get over that, and how I looked and my double chin and my blah blah blah,
Yeah.
all of that stuff. You have
We're
to,
so hard on ourselves, aren't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, sort of just like getting over that hump. And that's what the 30 days thing does. Like you just get used to seeing yourself.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it's always surprising after you kind of give yourself a dose of that courage and kind of put yourself into something where it's like, I know, whatever it is, right? Whether it's 30 days of posting videos or, doing something else that challenges you, you come out on the other side really surprised by what you discover about yourself. Yeah,
Totally.
yeah.
Totally.
So you've been doing this now for about a year, and I kept mentioning like that is an impressive arc to go from, just starting fresh to where you are now. What's next? Like where do you want to go with this?
Um, I want to continue to provide like really clear, concise, evidence-based presence online for parents and women. Like, I just want to continue to be a very real, consistent presence. When news cycles and trends and influencers and supplements and all of these things are like ebbing and flowing through parents' lives, I want to be like a really consistent, level-headed voice. And whether that is just on social media or whether I am able to find another platform or speak or do like conferences, like I don't even know. I would be happy to do anything. I'm pretty much saying yes to anything. A book, I have no idea, but a way to be consistently there, I think is really what I'm looking to do. And being able to react to. Like that's why I like about social media. Like when trends come out, like, you know, crazy things like putting butter on bottles and things like that. Like I want to be able to respond and be like a voice that people can look towards. And so whatever that looks like, whether that's a podcast, a book, speaking, I would be open to any of it, but nothing is in the works right now.
I love it. I love it.
I'm like, so
Um,
if you know anyone, have them call me.
I guess.
Anyone on
Um,
your marketing list is actually.
yes, absolutely. I've got some ideas because when I look at your page, I'm like, oh my gosh, my mind goes in like five directions of what you could do with
Yeah,
this.
the one thing that I'm not going to do, which I feel very confident on, is I am not going to create like a paid service or anything like that. Like I feel really
Mm.
strongly about not monetizing on my followers. I don't want to sell them another thing they don't need. like,
Can
and
I
I,
can I dig into that for just a
yeah.
second because you do feel very strongly about that. So why is that something that you're like, I don't want to do this. I would rather do the speaking, the books,
I mean,
the
I don't even know if I
advocacy.
would do a book. Like, I don't even know because I think the biggest thing that I struggle with, like, I've been approached by plenty of brands and plenty of things to collab or things to do or create like a, online community where people subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I just don't want to be selling things about parenting that I don't believe.
Mm. Hmm.
And I actually want parents to think that like they can be good parents without having to buy anything, you know,
Mm.
and give them the skills to be good parents without having to buy a subscription to me. Like when you do that, you're creating a need, right? Like you're making them think that there's a deficit that your product can address. And I want to, and this is bad in a lot of ways in business, right? Like I want to make myself irrelevant, right? Like I want to empower parents to not need whatever they're searching for.
Yeah.
And
I think that that's congruent with what you create though
yes,
is
yes.
one of the posts that you shared once, which saved me a ton of money, was like the things you don't need for your newborn. I was like, oh, probably could have taken that off the registry for the baby shower.
Oh, yes. So like all of that stuff, I'm like, so but then there are things that I feel very strongly about that like you do
Mm,
need. And I think like if we can be honest about the things that you need and you don't need and really de-escalate, then like when people have limited resources, they can work really hard on spending it where they do need, like, you know, those kind of things.
yeah.
I think the thing that I am really open to is I do really think that like there are really great brands out there that are doing really amazing innovations. I think that there are really great like lifestyle brands out there that I would love to work with to like bring to my audience that I think are really great, like that aren't medical. And I feel very
Mm,
comfortable doing that kind of stuff.
yep.
Um, if that makes sense, like I people joke about this all the time, but like I am like a salesperson when I like something, when I get like hyper fixated on something, like I will be like,
Because you believe in it.
oh yeah, I'm like, you have to belong to Costco. It's just the best. And I'll tell you all the reasons why you have to belong.
Did you talk to my sister like 2 days ago? Because she was like, you've really got to go get that Costco
Oh,
membership. I'm
you
like,
don't have
okay.
one? Oh my God.
No,
Like
there's not one close to me. I'd have to
it doesn't
travel
matter.
over an
It
hour
doesn't matter.
away.
Oh, you'll
See, there you
drive.
go. There
You'll
you go.
drive for it. You'll drive for it. No, but my point is like I am not opposed to working with brands. I'm not opposed to
Yeah.
having actual partnerships or making money. I don't think that that's a problem, and I don't think it's a conflict of interest. What I really struggle with is whatever you're telling someone is creating saying that they have a deficit in life.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And I especially in regards to parenting and pediatrics and health.
yeah.
That's what I have like a moral issue with. And that's kind of like where I'm coming
Yeah, well, and I think it's an interesting place that you're at because I think you have the ability to make those decisions because it's like I have this audience, I'm protective of them, right?
from.
I'm
Oh, and you're
protective of the community that I have created. And so you can be really thoughtful about what you do and don't want to do. And so you have some flexibility
yeah.
and creative freedom to decide what that looks like.
Yeah. And what I like about it too is like I pretty much say no to everything, um but I will still maintain that like if the right people come along to do a collaboration or to work with me, like I will say yes immediately and probably be like the cheapest person. you know.
Well, I want to end on a really uplifting note here, which is, you if you had a chance to say something to those who follow you, who comment, who send you those messages, what would you say to them?
Just like thank you. I literally have goosebumps with you even saying that. Like I can't even believe that people are willing to listen. And I'm so thankful that they're here. I feel like so lucky that I can speak to the things that I care about and feel passionate about. And I am so, so thankful that people have opened their like minds to being able to listen. And share. I think like that's the other thing. There are a lot of like grandparents that follow me that are like, I sent this to my daughter who just had a baby. Like I just feel so, so blessed, honestly, I feel so blessed and will continue to like work really hard and strive to create valuable content that's like evidence-based and thoughtful and trying to like help like the children around. So
I
just thank
love
you, I
it.
guess.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that place of gratitude. So yeah, so thank you so much for joining us
So
and
fun to meet you.